Sofia's Haven Audiobooks. Stories you can hear presents Moonlight Bride English version by Sofia. Chapter 2.
Who is the grandson of your best friend?
Callea asked her grandfather. Of course, she must know who she was marrying first. Her grandfather didn't expect her to just accept his edict without asking questions, right?
It is Deive Hontiveros. Don't worry, I choose well for you. He is good-looking, he studied abroad and he has brains for business. He helped a lot with the family business by introducing innovative marketing system.
And her grandfather kept on singing praises for the man as if the sun rises and sets on him. Deive Hontiveros. He would be her groom. Of course, she knew him. They were from the same social circle. He was a womanizer. Beautiful women follow him wherever he goes. And she was sure that he was a superficial man. He only sees people for their physical beauty. The type she loathed, by the way. And she would marry this man? That would be a disaster. But what choice does she have? She had a mansion to possess. And marrying Deive was the only way to do it. She couldn't find her voice to protest. Her cat must have sensed her anxiety. It stood up on her lap, then rubbed its hairy body to her legs to her arm. But Callea couldn't feel anything. Her cat trying to comfort her didn't work. She was like a still sculpture while listening to her grandfather discuss Deive and their wedding. Could she really marry the man who won't accept the real her? Could he accept her world? And her grandfather kept on singing praises for the man as if the sun rises and sets on him. Deive Hontiveros. He would be her groom. Of course, she knew him. They were from the same social circle. He was a womanizer. Beautiful women follow him wherever he goes. And she was sure that he was a superficial man. He only sees people for their physical beauty. The type she loathed, by the way. And she would marry this man? That would be a disaster. But what choice does she have? She had a mansion to possess. And marrying Deive was the only way to do it. She couldn't find her voice to protest. Her cat must have sensed her anxiety. It stood up on her lap, then rubbed its hairy body to her arm. But Callea couldn't feel anything. Her cat trying to comfort her didn't work. She was like a still sculpture while listening to her grandfather discuss Deive and their wedding. Could she really marry the man who won't accept the real her? Could he accept her world?
I want you to welcome him well. Make sure that he will like you. He will be at Villa Callea tomorrow night to meet you.
Tomorrow night? That soon? She hasn't even recovered from the thought that she would marry the womanizing stranger. Then he would just arrive at the mansion and invade her solitude, and her grandfather expected her to welcome the man with open arms? Oh, she just wanted to faint. But all she could answer was a simple, "Yes, Grandpa." It was not the right time for complaints. If she as much as voiced a protest, her grandfather might pull back his condition and won't give her a chance to get the mansion at all. That would be an even bigger disaster.
What if he doesn't like me, Grandpa?
Callea asked, hoping there would be another way out of this stipulation. Callea asked, hoping there would be another way out of this predicament.
You are beautiful, Iha. I am sure Deive can't resist you.
Her grandfather didn't lie. She was beautiful. She looked like the sepia photo of her great-grandmother Celesta Lopez that was displayed at the living room, just above the antique grand piano. Her great-grandfather even thought her great-grandmother was a fairy when he first saw her. Yes, she was beautiful. But it was a beauty she wished she didn't possess.
We are not really sure if he will like me, Grandpa. Beauty is not everything.
Are you protesting your marriage with Deive? Just say it now so you won't put our family in shame later on. Are you protesting your marriage with Deive? Just say it now so you won't put our family in shame later on.
No, that's not what I mean, Grandpa.
If you don't want to marry Deive, then leave the mansion now. Go back to Manila and live here instead.
No, please, I don't want to leave here. I beg you. You know how much I love this place.
It was a fate worse than death if she would leave Villa Celesta. It was her haven from the cruel world. It was her world. Leaving that place was no life at all. From the outside world, people saw her as a shell of a woman. A ghost. She would rather be a ghost to everyone's eyes. She would rather live at the shadow of that old house. She and Villa Celesta were one.
Well, you'd better prepare for the arrival of your future husband then. It would be better if you will tie a knot soon.
Please give me more time, Grandpa.
She begged. She was not yet ready to marry a stranger. She was not ready to welcome an unknown man in her life, no matter how rich or gorgeous he was.
I am already old, Callea. I don't have forever to guard you and take care of you. I want you to get settled with a man who will love you and take care of you before I depart this world. I am sure Deive is that man. He won't leave you and he will take care of you.
A man who would take care of her. Only her father could do that. He was the only man she accepted in her life. She was contented living with Marina and Luna. In her memory, Deive had an angelic face. Her grandfather thought that he was the angel who would protect her. He was wrong. Deive was like any other men. All they cared about was the physical beauty. A beauty they could possess. A beauty that was considered as a trophy. They were blinded by the outer beauty. Deive won't accept the real her.
I will sign over this house to you once you marry Deive. If you won't marry him, you will lose this place. I may even send you to your Callea abroad so there will be someone who will watch over you.
She shook her head, terror lancing through her body.
No, Grandpa, please, I will do whatever you want. I will marry Deive.
Callea was trembling when she put the phone down. She walked towards the veranda. She stared at the round moon. Luna jumped to her arms and rubbed its head on her chest. As if she was sympathizing with her doom.
What do I do now, Luna? I have to obey Grandpa or I will lose this house. It will kill me. We have nowhere to go.
She hugged her cat and silently cried. The moon witnessed her mourning. The cold wind blew, her long white gown and her long black hair danced with the wind. Screams permeated in the air from the people passing by the front of the mansion.
Oh God, there's a ghost, a white lady!
Shouted by three men who were probably drunk. Callea wiped her tears then laughed softly. That's why she liked that place. No one would dare bother her. The mansion was in the middle of nowhere. No one dared set foot on it because the place was believed to be haunted. And she loved it. She was a ghost in the eyes of many. Right. She would rather be a ghost forever. End of chapter 2. Thank you for listening. I hope you enjoy this chapter. Are you excited to listen to our next chapter? Please share this to your friends as well. Don't forget to click the bell button to subscribe to this channel. You can read the story on Dream and MoboReader. Filipino printed book version is available on www.shopee.ph/SofiaPHR. Feel free to check out my other videos in this channel and wait for the launching of www.sofiahavenstories.com so you can read more stories soon. Until our next chapter.